Honor, courage, tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
All farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Nias.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I have witnessed too many bitter deaths. But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic. Or maybe the truth is that you aren't able to feel sorrow anymore.
To be honest, I don't know either. But I am certain of one thing. This is not an acceptance of death nor apathy toward it. It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Enjoying?
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
But when you depart the mortal realm, won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Finally, let me recount to you a story of mine, young lady. The first time I returned from the battlefield, I felt extremely hollow. The calamity had devoured everybody on the battlefield but me. When I returned to the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell. It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
How does someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living, afford the same amount of bliss? Now please go away and don't block my starlight.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
That's exactly what life is, and death is, but a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully embrace it.
The embodiment of strife telling me about the majesty of the world.
Indeed. I believe that when the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my words. It is time for me to knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.
I knew this day would eventually come.
Are the both of you ready?
Polixia. I'm here. What? This...
This is quite interesting indeed.
Is this... Polixia's sister? Is it... me? Now, it's time for us to fulfill our promises. Are you afraid? What are you afraid of? That I won't be able to do it. You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. As foretold in the prophecy, and according to our vows, once it all ends, we must face our fated moment head-on. Even if it was prophesized, do we have no say in the matter? It's so unfair. Why are we the only ones who are forced into mutual destruction? Let me do it, sister. Let me be death's sacrifice. I was never long for this world anyway. But you're different. I was the one who wasted your life after all. You're wrong, Polixia. I don't think that my life was wasted. Just the opposite. When I finally arrived at this destination and looked back at the journey I took, I discovered that flowers had long since bloomed along the path I walked. It was you who sowed the seeds for this sea of flowers, one that is more beautiful than the promised land at the end of the world. Besides, I have lived a fulfilling life. Even though I was fated for sacrifice, none of the things that I've experienced will dissipate. Instead, they'll forever live on as memories inside your head. Will they not? How could my memories of you ever compare to the actual you? Well then, tell me. What exactly are we? I don't know. I don't know either. But regardless of what the answer is, regardless of how we're shaped by others, or even by this world. Ever since we were born, the fact that we existed was predestined, and nothing could erase it. This is why I will always, always be by your side. We're twins, after all. All right, my dear Polixia. It's time to extract my heart and light the flame of death. After that, use it to plant the first bud in the prophesied new world.
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I am certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. Even now, my answer remains the same. This is why, sister, I promise you, in the prophesied new world, I shall plant the first bud on your behalf. Go now. Return to the Ocean God's treasured pearl, our hometown. I shall open wide the entrance to the Netherrealm and grant you a second life. The living beings on this earth shall respond to my call and lead you to the sacred daylight. Remember, do not look back on the land of the dead, and do not stop moving. In the new world promised by the prophecy, march toward your new life. As for the price of our equivalent exchange, let me be the one to pay it.
Everybody, we've come to the end. Unfortunately, I am not compatible with the Supreme Being, so I was unable to completely fuse their soul into my own body. However, being able to glean all this from them is exciting enough. I'm certain of this now. Before the Titans that we are well acquainted with were born, a group of heroes roamed the land. These heroes followed a prophecy and took possession of divine authorities one by one, until they eventually became the pantheon of the new world. Just like the flame chase journey of today, Amphorius's history is cyclical in nature.
What a startling revelation. This means that the demigods, who bear the core flames, will also become the new Titans at the world's end, thereby shaping a new world?
I believe that this is the truth behind the Era Nova, as mentioned in the prophecy.
This is utterly unbelievable. Besides, those twins in the past, even if they really are Thanatos, their whereabouts are still unknown even today.
Are their whereabouts truly unknown? Didn't Polixia mention that seaside town? the birthplace of alchemy and the tale of the dragon. In our world, there exists a city which perfectly matches that description. Styxia.
But the people there worship Vagusa and bear no relation to Thanatos. I have also never been to that place, as in the time of Idonia, it had long turned into underwater ruins.
Take this.
This is...
The Nusporist masterpiece, the Philosopher's Stone. It was made by transmuting all of the sages' wisdom into a single entity, with their flesh and blood as its foundation. Remember? I've mentioned before that the art of alchemy is all about conversion, tempering, and ascension. This process also applies to the pursuit of truth. Regardless of how unbelievable this sounds, the truths of the world have been refined from the impurities. Think about the story of the dragon. This stone will lead you to your real hometown, allowing you to reform the door to the Netherrealm and discover Thanatos' fate.
You still look as confident in your victory as ever. But what if your conjecture is wrong?
Simple. I shall merely admit to the entire world that my experiment was a failure. However, my line of thinking will not fail because I have already planted the seeds of doubt into the hearts of the masses. Actions speak louder than words, Castoris. With the assembly about to begin, don't forget the promise you've made.
I've already searched for so long. I'm willing to try one more time. While we converse, his life is also slowly slipping away. But before I leave, I have another question. What exactly did we witness just now?
That was the world imprinted in Kefali's soul. If we are to prove its existence, you must take the final step. Go. Do not disappoint me.
I understand.
Hey, child of humanity.
Don't get antsy. I still remember the question you posed to me. As a scholar, I do not wish to offer up ambiguous conclusions. Let's discuss this topic again when she manages to find the evidence.
I merely wanted to ask, was that stone transmuted from your heart? If so, rebirth is no longer an option for you.
Why not? When I was a child, I lost someone dear to me. When I was a teenager, I lost my faith. A while back, although you saved my life, I also lost my soul in the process. Now I'm merely forsaking my body. What's the big deal?
Why are you always finding ways to die? Isn't it good to be alive?
This is but a necessary sacrifice on my path to transform into the purest of them all.
Can someone who's dead even claim to be the purest of them all? Furthermore, if your hypothesis is proven correct, does it not just confirm that the myths are true, and thereby invalidate all your theories?
No, it's just the opposite. If my hypothesis is correct, it means that I can actually ascend to godhood and reshape this absurd world that you all have created.
That's a lot to take in at once.
Lady Aglaya, please, let me explain.
Go on.
You know that the core flame of death has always been the greatest unknown regarding the Era Nova, which is why both you and Kindness desire to gain the power to control that core flame in the approaching Citizens' Assembly. Professor Anaxa has come to a consensus with Kindness. They want to suspend the trial once Thanatos' core flame is reclaimed, hoping thus to eradicate death from this world. If they're successful, then the flame chase journey will cease, and Akama can enjoy everlasting peace. But I know this runs counter to your wishes. So long as we do not usher in Era Nova, the Black Tide will never be eradicated. Even with Lord Mighty on the front line, and the Black Tide not posing an immediate risk, the danger nevertheless remains. Honestly, it's difficult for me to assess the pros and cons in this decision. But someone must bring the core flame before we can begin negotiations over it. The Titan could be very near. I cannot let this chance slip by. Besides, someone has to make this trip to bring back Mr. Soul.
Well said. You already had every reason to seek an audience with Thanatos. It's that great performer who has weaponized your wishes and placed us in this difficult situation. A world without death. Do you desire that too?
If fate dictates that my path must oppose yours, I will do all I can to resist it and protect what I aspire to achieve. Lord Mighty showed me that without taking the first step, all talk of what follows is moot.
I have always hoped to hear you speak your mind, Cass. And I am glad to have heard your true thoughts. Styxia. I visited that place in the past. Though it is now an island surrounded by the river of Souls Torrents, it's not hard to see its former splendor. Go. I will not stand in your way. As for you, you are someone who has cheated death. I believe you have more than enough reason to make the trip with Casterus and meet the god of death himself. Casterus, I too look forward to your journey. I wonder what kinds of new interpretations your completed story will bring to the Flame Chase journey.
Thank you, Lady Aglaya.
I hate to put a damper on this heartwarming moment, but if Styxia is now an island surrounded by the river of Souls Torrents, then how do we find a way in? Lady Trebe is probably...
The answer is quite simple. In the myths, Zagreus once made the domain of the dead their treasure vault. That is to say, they could enter and leave the Nether Realm as they pleased. And if they could do that, then it follows that the demigod who inherited their divinity must be capable of the same. I'll see you at Marmorial Palace at Action Hour tomorrow. Cypher shall be your guide to finding that ancient city.